Welcome in, everybody. So Donald Trump attended the New York Knicks San Antonio Spurs NBA Finals, Game 3, Madison Square Garden, and he was booed. He was heavily booed. Yet he is trying to do the best he can to say, nope, that wasn't the case.
It was, I think, mostly cheers. It was loud and it was very enthusiastic.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Loud and enthusiastic. So let's just go over some of those cheers, shall we? By the way, this is from someone with WFAN. I mean, come on. There's more. Where are the cheers, Donald? Here's what gets me. I want to play this one more time. This is via Sam Amick at The Athletic, longtime NBA writer. From a media perspective, just like being in those control rooms, being behind the scenes, seeing how they coordinate all these things, being in the trucks, he knows. Watch how he looks over his shoulder this way. He's either getting a cue from an advisor, or what happened, in my opinion, they told him, let me see where the line is. Right here. So Last Gleaming, right? When he sings Last Gleaming, Trump turns. And he's either getting a cue or he is looking at the live monitors in his box. And he's going, oh, here's where I got to do the salute. So then he throws it up, knowing he is going to be on television. Of course, like everyone else, even his 19-year-old granddaughter knows what to do for the real patriots of America. They put their hands over their hearts. As the Daily Beast even pointed out, this is not what you do during the anthem. This actually shows how unpatriotic he is because it's in violation. But I digress because he knows everything about the national anthem. So here is probably why you clicked on this video. I just wanted to give that sort of background and set the precedent for what we're about to talk about. Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, a man who said that he basically regrets his vote for Kamala Harris and has said in the wake of Jimmy Kimmel, the FCC, and many others, we really got to be careful what we say. And we know that the president's going after everybody. He did not like that Trump was there. I'm going to play that sound in a second. A reporter asked him, the president, about this. Here's how he responded.
ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith, who was talking about running for president, said he would blame you if the Knicks lost the game. How do you respond to that?
I think he's a nice guy. But you need a certain aptitude to run for president. You need a high IQ. I'm not sure that Stephen has that. I don't think he does, actually.
Oh my God, man. Okay. It wasn't even a hardcore diss. You know who's been saying this, by the way? Everybody. This wasn't even Stephen A. being an outlier, making this incredible, out of the ordinary prediction. No. This was Stephen A. saying what everybody in New York is saying. They don't want him there. They don't. Logistically, security-wise, fans having to be there over 2 hours prior to the game, ticket prices being jacked up, partially because the Knicks are in the finals and they're hosting a finals game at MSG. The other, of course, is that this diabolical figure is going to be there. And what does Trump do? He stoops to the lowest of lows, and that is racism. Racism. He says Stephen A. Smith is a low IQ person. Who else has he said this about? Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Called her low IQ. Who else did he say it about? Well, here is that Truth Social post where he talks about how Justice Jackson is that new low IQ person. Far from it, of course. Congresswoman Maxine Waters. See him right here in a tweet. An extraordinarily low IQ person. Then he would call Don Lemon and LeBron James low IQ, not smart. All because LeBron James said of Trump, he's kind of used sport to divide us. And that's something I can't relate to because I know that sport was the first time I ever was around someone white. So he called him dumb for that comment. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called him a thug. And then he would also label him low IQ. I want to be very clear about this. I don't like Hakeem Jeffries. I don't think he should be speaker. I don't think he should be the leader of the Dems in the House. And yet, do I think that he is low IQ? Do I think he is not smart? Do I think he's a thug? Do I think he's dumb? No, I don't. I do not. You know what I think he is? A politician. A bad one, but I think he's a politician. Then, as MS Now would break down, this is just par for the course.
But there's also a pattern to when he uses it. While he's used that insult against a range of political adversaries, he's primarily used it to attack Black and brown people, usually women of color. It dates back to his first term, like here, talking about a high-ranking Black Democratic lawmaker.
Maxine Waters is leading the charge. Maxine, she's a real beauty. Maxine, a seriously low IQ person.
Oh my God.
And here, about Congresswomen Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Jasmine Crockett.
AOC, look, I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ. And we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best.
I mean, this is just like such staunch bigotry by the leader of the free world. None of it is surprising, of course. It can't be surprising. But this is just what he does.
Earlier this year, when he posted that Democratic House members Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib were, quote, low IQ for protesting him at the State of the Union.
Look, we can give example after example after example because there are too many. He does this with Black and brown people. This is what he does. There is a direct link. Now, what did Stephen A say about Trump being there prior to Game 3 and why Trump is so upset with him?
This president has no business showing up in New York City. I am dead serious. It is selfish. It is narcissistic. It is ridiculous that he is coming to this game. I would say the same thing if it were Obama, George W., Clinton. I don't give a damn. We went back to Reagan. This is not a football stadium in some space in Texas where you've got a whole bunch of outlays and all of this. This is the Garden. This is Midtown Manhattan. You have any idea what the congestion is going to be like in New York City here? I get off my radio show at 3 o'clock. I've been instructed that I got to go straight to the Garden for an 8:30 game because that's how bad traffic is going to be.
I am genuinely curious, as I'm going to let this play. Is he mad for the people or is he mad for himself? Because he just interjected a story from one of the richest New Yorkers, let alone probably the richest dude on air talent in media, complaining and fetching about how he needs to get to the Garden about 5 hours before tip. I'm genuinely curious what ruffles his feathers more.
And by the way, we talk about this, and I was on some conservative talk show this morning. I think the guy Sid Rosenberg, I went off on him too.
Oh, the purple guy. that Majority Report talked about. Why is he so purple?
Because, I mean, it's gotten to the point where if this president passed gas, people going to call it perfume. It's ridiculous. Certain things you just wrong about. You're the president of the United States. That means whenever you show up, it's nothing but congestion. It's Secret Service, it's local PD.
Okay, so I can't believe I'm saying this. I agree with Stephen A. Smith. I agree with him. And yet, here's where I think Trump is really pissed.
If they lose tonight, I'm looking right at him. I'm blaming the president of the United States of America if the New York Knicks lose this tonight. It is selfish. There is no reason for any president, because of the congestion and the security measures that have to be invoked in order to ensure his safety. There is no president that should be showing up to a game like tonight in New York City.
Again, I can't believe I'm saying this. We're 2 for 2. I agree with Stephen A. Smith. And really, it's a low bar. It is. And yet, I'm going to skip this. When he talked about Stephen A. being low IQ, here is how Stephen A. responded this morning on his show, which he is not only the lead host, but lead host. He's the lead host and executive producer of First Take.
You want to talk about IQ? I could say I put my IQ up against yours any day of the week. I could go one better. I could ask you why you've been running from me the last year since I wanted to talk to you. I could ask you to debate me since you think you that dude, okay? We can go a myriad of ways with all of this, but I'm not going to let you off the hook because none of that is important. I do appreciate the fact that you called me a nice guy.
Wait, what? So he got in like a small dig, and then he said, but that's not important. So racism, that's not a red line for you. Pure unadulterated bigotry, not a red line for you. He just offended you by invoking a historical dig at Black and brown people, questioning their IQ and their intelligence. And you said that's not important? What is important to you? If that's not important to you, what is at this point? This is pathetic. Pathetic. Oh my gosh. Lou DiBella, boxing promoter Triple G. You bent over backwards to accept and tolerate this dude. Do you not see that every black person who disagrees with him is a low IQ person? Time to use your voice, Stephen A. Known you a long time, and while not always in accord with your thinking, low IQ has never been a characteristic that you display. Time to swing back, not like you to accept obviously racist stuff. Dude, yes. Like, what gets me is he's the guy who would threaten Kevin Durant. You don't want to make an enemy out of me. And even the auntie said, hope Stephen A has the same energy for Trump like he does all the black people he loves to rant about. Like Jasmine Crockett, who, again, not a perfect politician. But the way that he has, like Trump, attacked so many prominent black and brown figures is just deeply troubling. And now, on this subject, he has nothing to say because he calls it unimportant. Again, I end with this. What is important to you, Stephen A? Let us know. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.